Welcome, Jamie Loder. Thanks for making time to speak with Central Coast newspapers. Last night at the council meeting, you gave a report on the Water Security Plan 2050. Is that the correct title?
It's called the Central Coast Water Security Plan.
And Jamie, just to start off contextually, how are we going as far as water supply is concerned right now? I know that there's been a lot of concern about it in the past. How are we going right now?
Yeah, so currently we're in a pretty good position. We've received a lot of rain in the first part of the year, and certainly in March where we had some significant rainfall, and we were able to capture a lot of that through the Wyong River catchment and pump that up into Mangrove Creek Dam. So it's currently sitting at 75%, which is a good position for that dam to be in, and we're currently using Mooney Dam and Marty Dam for our water supply. So we're not actually touching that 75% that's sitting up at Mangrove.
Is that also a factor of the investments that have gone in for the last 10 years as far as the pump between the dams? Is that also that factor?
Definitely. That's, that pipeline, the Marty to Mangrove pipeline, is how we transfer that water from the Wyong River catchment up to Mangrove Creek Dam. So that's certainly paying off, in terms of being able to increase our yield.
So on to some of the strategy. It's a very comprehensive document. You've talked to presumably a lot of people in the community about it. How long has it taken to put together the strategy and document?
It's been about 3 years in the making, this plan, and certainly initially involved a lot of technical and academic research and an assessment of a range of options before we were in a position where we could go to the community and certainly test the community's values, what they expect in terms of their water supply, and also present some of the options that we'd already developed, I guess, in the background to see what level of support each of those gained with the community. And the other part is also we developed a model in conjunction with Hunter Water, because our systems are somewhat linked. Yep. Then it makes sense that we look at both of the systems holistically as well, to see to make sure that what one does doesn't disadvantage the other. So a lot of work has gone in the preparation of the plan, and certainly the community consultation's been going for around 12 months, which has been quite extensive.
And it goes out to final community consultation at the end of the month, is that correct?
That's right. It goes out on the 31st of August. It's on the Your Voice, Our Coast website, and that'll be available for people to provide their feedback up to the 28th of September.
Okay. One thing that stood out, and of which has been in our newspapers at least, is a series of aged infrastructure pipes, water supply pipes bursting and so on. What's the role of asset improvement or replacement in the strategy?
Yeah, so that forms part of the water conservation pillar that is part of the preferred portfolio that we've put in the plan, and really it's around replacement of that aging infrastructure. And we've got a number of ways that we evaluate that. We look at failure rates, we look at condition assessments and those sorts of things to determine what makes up our capital works program each year, and that's the basis that we decide where we spend that money. Also, that water conservation piece looks at our leakage rates. It looks at our education and those sorts of programs. And normally, what we've done in the past is we ramp up our education in times of drought, and really what we should be doing is keeping that going throughout the years, so that we don't actually get into a position where we need to start looking at restrictions and those sorts of things.
Okay. Through the consultation process, working this up, one point does stand out, and that is additional supply. That is to say, non-rain supply. talk us through that. What is additional supply to our water catchment?
So that's the climate independent supply. So that's supply options that don't rely on us just getting a lot of rainfall. So a dam is climate dependent because you need the rain to fill that up. So climate independent supply sources is in this plan. We're talking about purified recycled water and also desalination. So they're the two main options that in that category.
And the feedback, as I read through the report, albeit briefly, there is people do see that as a necessity to use those options to secure supplies. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that certainly came out in the deliberative forums that we held with the community, and once they understood, I guess, what we were talking about, initially desalination wasn't very popular at all because people imagine a factory being built on a water factory being built on the beach, which nobody wants to see that. But once we explained how that would actually work, where it would be located, also they're quite interested in energy costs, and we are proposing carbon offsetting as part of that. So once we provided more detail around some of those options, there was a lot more support for each of those.
And the purification, I take that as a stormwater. Is that correct?
No, that's using tertiary treated sewage effluent and pumping that back to above the weir pool and Wyong River, and then extracting that into Marty Dam to then be run through the water treatment plant. So it is a form of I guess potable sewer reuse, but it's very much diluted and no different really to towns that live on rivers where the town upstream of you is they're discharging their sewage.
So this technology is used all over the world very successfully, and in Australia it's reverse osmosis and these things. Is that correct?
Those sorts of things, yeah.
Now, look, to wrap this up, we noticed that your CEO, with support of the administrators, looking at possibly reorganising the Water and Sewerage Authority, for want of a better word. Is this part of that process?
The water security plan, as I said, has been something we've been working on for 3 years. We need to have a strategic plan that is after our future water supply, and this has been going on long before there was any plan to undertake the review into the water and sewer business. And really, that review is looking at the governance arrangement. So regardless of whether water and sewer is within council or whether it's somehow separate to the organisation, we still need to have this in place. So it's Hunter Water are on public exhibition with their version of their water security plan at the moment as well.
So this is this plan, I understand, just to finish up, will form the basis of future investments, I take it, into infrastructure and so on.
That's right, and part of our funding is regulated by IPART, and when we lodge our submission with IPART for our next pricing determination, we have to justify all the capital expenditure that we're proposing to undertake, and part of that justification is having a strategic justification for it, and that's what this plan provides.
All right, and we understand through the reports that the as I call it, for want of a better name, the Water Authority is in a good financial position and has very little leverage and loans associated with it.
No, that's not correct. So we do have a lower debt ratio than most water businesses.
Well, that was what I was referring to.
Yeah.
In regards to Sydney or the Hunter.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we are in a very good position in terms of that. Yeah. But the water business does carry the majority of the debt for the council.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we'll stand corrected on that. So, all right. Well, look, thanks for having a chat with Central Coast Newspapers.
No problem. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks.